Yeah, hey guys, it's your host Purple Sparkle. What's up? Now that I'm eating, yep, and brewing coffee, my brain is a lot faster. I guess we're officially having breakfast with Purple, huh? Well, today, because it's like 2 in the afternoon here, or 1. Let me check. 2:10 in the afternoon. We have Healing Vibrations in the back with their latest release of Sagittarius Sound Bath. You should look it up. It's on Spotify under Healing Vibrations. So good. Today I'm eating mashed potatoes with beef tips and gravy. But I went ahead and added a little saute to it. Let's see, we have celery, garlic, and another vegetable, but I don't remember what it is. The reason why I don't remember is because I prepped it in the summer when I had a plethora from gardens and whatnot. I totally threw some of my goods, so I have it during the winter. So good. So good. There's some salt, some pepper, black pepper to be specific, and some, I like Parmesan cheese and ranch, so there's some stuff above that on there. Pretty good. Hey, look, there's Confucius. Hey, Floofy. If you follow me on if you follow one of my accounts on TikTok, then you're gonna know that Thorin has had a recent beauty update. And Confucius is a mother. She had one baby make it. She had 3 in total. 2 were stillborn, and Thorin was the only one that made it. And then Tempest, my oldest kitty, I've had her for 9 years. She also had 3, and all 3 of hers made it. So I have 4 babies right now. Waiting for my coffee to finish steaming. That severe storm that came through last night woke me up out of the sleep. It was like 2 in the morning. My like I was saying, my little dog over here, he was whimpering and he was scared and he had to sleep with me, which is funny because this is the dog that defies me all the time. He's constantly fighting with me, constantly having problems. Like I'm having to give him away. We have so many problems. But last night, sure as everything else, he had to come snuggle. So I think that's progress. That he was really scared and he trusted me enough to come hang out. I got him snuggles in. Which I tell him is his official dog job. He's the master of ceremony of snuggles. So good. Anyways, not sleeping because that little dog invaded my space. Like, he's a little guy too. He's not a big pit bull. I have a pit bull and he's not a big dog. He's a little chihuahua. So, and you think that he could totally share like a bed with a dog. No, his face was literally in my face. And I tell you what, that puppy breath made it hard to sleep. I'm telling you that now. So I kept putting him back in the kennel, right? Because he's still training and all that. And so he kept whining, and I was like, oh my god. So anyways, I eventually let him out. And he snuggled with me all night. And it was a gamble, because normally he likes to take liberties with his bladder, which is why he has the kennel. And I was like, look, dude, you don't want to be in the kennel because you're afraid of the wind and all that. You pee on me, it's over. But he was really good last night. The unfortunate thing, though, is my apartment, my beautiful apartment, there was a severe leak in the door. And they refused to fix it. As a matter of fact, when my garbage disposal died, they tried to bill me for it. And then I was just like, no, it's in the lease. And then they refused to fix the door, so I went and bought the stripping and the door stuff, the foam stuff, so you can like seal the door. And was efficiently told, in very specific terms, you fix the door without our approval or without us doing it or without our equipment, and we will evict you. Which seems unfair. Don't die. That's what you get for only going for the beef water. You gotta eat the rest of your food, quit making a mess. And so we have to put my pillows from my couch in front of the door to help insulate my apartment because they won't allow me to cover the air conditioner with a seasonal cover because that's against the rules. They're not allowing me to fix the draft in my front door because they refuse to fix it, making it tentatively and in a passive-aggressive way against the rules. So it's a good thing that my husband and I are looking to move. So now you know why I got boxes everywhere. My house is trash, and I keep talking about moving because it has to happen. And we have holes in our ceiling from the springtime and last winter when the roof started leaking into our apartment and down through the window sills. We have damaged wall, and I have a gigantic hole in my ceiling. I'm not even kidding. It's like 6 inches in length by 3 inches wide, and it's deep, and it goes directly into the roof. So the only thing that's keeping into the roof scaffolding, the only thing keeping the weather out is in fact the roof in the middle, because they didn't fix it. They put a metal sheet over the hole. They didn't seal it, they didn't caulk it, they didn't tar it, they didn't do anything. So it got major windstorm that came up through last night. I'm just expecting it to worsen. But besides all of that, we do have it is a beautiful 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath apartment with a fireplace, dishwasher, and a pantry. Love it. But negligent landlords when I'm a disabled adult, not so much. To their defense, we have trees all over our campus, so it's absolutely stunning here in the spring and summer because the trees are green and they have overwatered the ground. So they're definitely making sure it remains green, except for a few areas that flood because they don't know how to fix the sprinkler head, drain it properly, or how to utilize the sprinkler system versus the gradient because it's a hilly area. And I have some experience in that. I used to be a nursery manager, and I used to do lawn care and landscaping and all of that. So I do have some minor experience in how they could be usefully doing it. And that goes back to another issue that we have with landlord, that the bills they try to stick us with are insane. We do have a community pool, though. That's definitely been a plus every summer. I've been here 2 summers. So the owner came down and was busting chops for the GM, right? Because our water bill was insane. We're talking like thousands of dollars. And so what we gathered from the people who own where I'm at, that they expect that to happen once a year when we fill the pool, right? But there's been other residents that have bitched about the price of the money that we do pay. There are some brown spots and the flooding or the different uses of water and the whole weather climate and how drought is coming, or is actually currently happening. If you're familiar, Mississippi dried up in parts, and dams are losing their water quotients markets, and like the whole Southwest is pretty much dry as can be, and which goes into the water rights, and it actually kind of ties into ICWA, to be honest with you, because of tribal sovereignty we have water rights before everybody else have water rights, because we were there first, and that's how water rights work. Anyway, so if ICWA falls and the sovereignty of the tribe falls, then our water rights then also fall. And currently there are many reservations in the Southwest that are actually having water driven and imported to them because now the government has the water restrictions, and if it's linked to the Native Americans for so long, we have no water. So it's only complexing the problem. Anywho, that's a little off tangent there. So the general manager got jumped up one side and down the other, and then started. So I'm not the only one here with some kind of landscaping, sprinkler, gradients, water usage type thing, like actual professional experience. And so they didn't like the fact that I'm a vagina member of society, that's for sure. It turns out I was one of two, but had 5 years or more experience with caring for lawns and shrubs and trees and gardens, and was actually familiar with like the water usages and so forth, and like the federal law and what's going on in our local community and how the water plays out. So there were some discriminatory practices and lashing out as a result of my vagina at my current apartment. So it's a good thing we're moving, because the owner was just like, you leave her alone or else, and the GM was eventually replaced, and went from one tyrant to another. That's all I'm gonna say. And I don't know, maybe it's a little too harsh, but there are good things about my community, like we can do breakfast burritos in the summertime, or they'll just pay the food truck to come and do the event. We do it for Halloween and Thanksgiving too, where we'll gather as a community and potluck it or whatever. That's the definite pluses. But the lack of maintenance is frightening. And one of my biggest issues is they like to enter your house without proper notification. And it's in the lease that they'll enter your house. Like, you have to sign a lease saying that, yeah, you're allowed to enter my house. But the federal law mandates, especially in Colorado, it's a 3-day entry notice. You have to post it to the door. They don't do that. They come and check to see if you lock your door. And then even if it's locked, they still let themselves in. Though I can't prove who's stealing it. I've had stuff come up missing. Another thing that my husband and I have had conversations where we're both in the office hanging out with the office staff, right? Because that's what you do. And we were paying a bill, I think it was, and we were doing the cookie decorations last year. We had cookie decorations for Christmas. So we were there during the event. And they brought up 4 different conversations that we had privately in our apartment. Now, my husband's a veteran, and he and I both have searched our house a few times, and so he called over other veteran friends, and they went through the whole house and some interesting things turned up, if you know what I'm saying. So, and there's I didn't know because I moved from out of state into this apartment, but the locals call this the hood because the last half of my apartment complex is wood in it, because it used to be a wooded area. It used to be a dairy farm with thickets of wood, so it's big groups of trees, and so they have the wood in the last half of the title, but the locals call it the hood, the first half and the last half of the hood. And I didn't realize it because I obviously was ignorant and didn't know. There's a lot of people that come through this apartment.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
And then they don't ever come back. And how this apartment complex is notorious for poor maintenance, breaking and entering, to the point where I was here, the first year I was here, one of the maintenance workers walked in on this single woman. She just happened to come out of the bathtub. She was in the towel walking around in her apartment, right in her home, and he raped her. Yeah. Then there was a couple of shootings here, stabbing here. There's lots of breaking and entering here, property damage, and I had no idea. And then, so if that's not enough, then the landlord will instigate fights with you. Like, they will seek you out to publicly humiliate and shame you, and then they'll try to verbally or emotionally accost you. So it's been definitely a nuisance and a disturbance of the peace. But because the police station used to own this apartment complex, and I didn't know that. So, but they're in good now with the police, and it literally comes down to their word against yours. And so we've had a few run-ins where luckily we've had proof to validate what we're saying, and witnesses, because other people that used to live here have, like, yeah, we've had proof too. We've had multiple interactions with the police. We've had to get an attorney. We actually have had to get an attorney more than once because of the management here and the maintenance here, and they're just butt heads. Because I think so Robert, the guy that I know, and I and my husband have so we've done some more digging when we started finding out, because the locals now live here. They were coming forward, and I'm like, well, yeah, we're going to let you know what's going on in Fort Collins, and welcome to the area. We're so happy you're here, but and so turns out, like, if you're a manager here at the Ramblewood, you hold a certain percent of stocks or something, so you're like partial owner. As I die in front of you, I'm sorry, excuse me. And so they think that egregious abuse to anybody, it's 100% okay, because we have seen them run out and abuse disabled adults and regular people. And with the rapes and the assaults and stuff, it's a thing. It's scary, but I don't want to be homeless in Colorado. It snows here. Not just because of the snow, but because the police department is notorious for abusing the homeless. And they come up missing, and they don't do anything about it. And they wait, like, because missing people have to be reported missing, and they have to be missing for 72 hours before the police will even start to look into it. And when look into it, I mean, they will go to the homeless shelter. Not last time I checked in, ask if you homeless people, maybe. And then it goes cold. The police don't do anything more about it. You're homeless, nobody cares. They don't care, and they exploit that. So definitely it's safer, even though I'm living in a hostile environment here in my apartment complex. It is safer here than it would be on the streets. So that was brought up to the owner, not the staff, about. So a lot of us did the management staff our concerns, especially when we got a new manager. It's like, what are your concerns? And we're just like, well, our personal safety is definitely top of the list to our constitutional rights for living in a safe environment in our home and our boundaries and all the state and local and civil laws and federal laws that, ensure that we have at the boundary threshold of the home we have safety, and how that's not respected. And then the extra violence from like the various staff members and et cetera, et cetera. And it's how do I put this without being more alarming? Because I'm alarmed. They revel in it. These are positive affirmations for them. So it's definitely tyrannical and abusive. So, and then I stopped taking it, and then so there's other reasons too that we want to move. Like, so the pool is cute, right? It's a small little pool, but it works. It's cold for summer. It works. But our apartment complex is 90% of us are of Latin descent or have some mix of non-white, or non-European indigenous, right? So we're definitely a bunch of minorities around here, and they abuse us as that as well. And part of that is we have rules at the pool. I'm gonna circle that in so you understand the context. It says if you have to be 18 or older to be in the pool, or accompanied by an adult of your family or somebody. And some of the non-English speaking will release their children into the pool who don't abide by the rules, and there have been multiple injuries. And we were my husband and I and some friends of us were in the pool, and we were discussing the behavior of the children and how it's reckless and endangering others. And even though we're trying to just chill in the pool and share as a community, these children are literally trying to jump on our heads. Some of us have cerebral palsy, some of us have MS, some of us are there for floating, so we were actually knowing. So us adults were actually trying to time it when the kids aren't there, and it's summer, and so they just relinquish the kids, and they're unsupervised, and we've had multiple injuries. Well, anyways, we were having a conversation in the pool about all of these shortcomings while we were tossing around the beach blow-up ball multicolor thing, and they overheard that I have years of lifeguarding and a first aid response, and I used to be an EMT, and so was actively a professional at one point of first response, and so is my spouse and a couple other residents. So they have pretty much, they would have their professional team before if they ever chose to actively employ us for what we're capable of. Instead of what they did is this child, even though there was 4 adults in the pool area and all of us were parents, and we were just observing the babies and making sure that everybody was okay and reminding them that there were rules not to run and don't dive into the shallow end because you might hurt yourself really bad. And this girl, wild, and that's just a polite way of describing it, decided not to adhere to the rules, and she did not think that they applied to her. Pretty much broke her knee. And the apartment complex came for me and tried to gaslight and blame both my husband and I for us not preventing her from being reckless in the pool and try to hold us accountable. And we were just we are not her parents. We are not employed by you. And the rules are posted. They are same for everybody. And just because you overheard a conversation because you watched your videos, which is great, then you should know that we, in fact, are not responsible for her. And it's her dad. She was on a visit with her dad. And his apartment has a pool, so hey, but he didn't want to come to the pool that day, and whatever. That's their family issues. But they were on a witch hunt. And for a good 4 months, they were egregious to us. They were a nuisance and battering verbally, emotionally, and our personal peace in our home. And there was lots of times when I was home alone and they were walking into my apartment. There have been a few times when I've walked around the corner because the door doesn't lock correctly, like the handle comes out and the deadbolt doesn't stay locked, and they have keys in addition to that. So even when I'm at home and I lock the door, they still let themselves in. So anyways, I've gotten out of the bathtub and had people just in my apartment, like, who the fuck are you? And so I'm thinking, I hear the door unlock, right? And it's open and it's a windy day. So I'm like, okay, there's a 50-50 shot. I'm gonna go check the door. Sure as shit. They looked at me wide-eyed and I'm like, can I help you? I'm like, no, we weren't expecting you to be home. I'm like, okay, great, I'm home. What do you need? I'm like, are you here to fix this? Are you gonna help me mount? Because I have a TV mount for the wall to mount my Vizio. And I didn't know what studs were. I don't have a stud finder. And that's against the lease, evidently, that I'm not allowed to have my TV hanging off the wall. But they didn't tell me that for like the first year and 3 months I was here. And so they just never did it. Anywho, they were in the house. I was like, you want to come out the TV? Let me go get dressed. Could you, like, I'm going to lock the door and close it. Give me 10 minutes. I'm going to go get situated. And it was two fit young males. And I could tell you, if they really wanted to, it would have been a very bad situation a lot faster. Luckily, they weren't criminal rapists or something, but I definitely was very uncomfortable. And I found them rummaging through my kitchen. I've had $200 of groceries come up missing before. So I'm just like, if you want food, I will gladly give you what I can spare, but I'm not going to let you take whatever you want. Because, you know, I like to eat too. So anyway, so as you can tell, it's a passive hostile situation here that the management breeds. So, and my husband is not about that. He loses his, because he has CPTSD and anxiety, and I have anxiety. And this is the fun part, I guess I should say, is there are several of us new tenants that have been, because we've been here 2 years, going on our third. Well, we're trying to be out by mid-January. Because of everything that I've explained, I no longer wish to give money to people who violate so many laws, and because they're good with the police, it's their word against mine, and the fact that I have to get an attorney to back them off is ridiculous. So, anywho, several of us are able to defend ourselves, and even though there are two disabled adults living in this apartment, they assume that two disabled adults, that we're not going to be able to defend ourselves, or that we're not, knowing of the law. And that's something that they prey upon, that they expect you to be ignorant of the law and what you're rightfully entitled to. Because as soon as you say that's against the law and you're not allowed to do that, or that the way you're manipulating the lease in a negative against the law manner is actually criminal organization behavior. Like, red flag. You made a mess on my couch, you dog. What the hell? To eat on my couch. You're not obligated to eat on my couch. That's right. Is this enough food to put your puppy bed back to bed? Puppy butt back to bed? You woke me up and kept me awake. So we've put offers in on a couple houses, and we've not heard anything back. That's the great news. But when they found out that we could defend ourselves, or then they get all stupid aggressive about it. And my apartment is gorgeous. I have a great view of beautiful green trees. I have a swimming pool. I'm very grateful, and there's definitely every reason why I wanted to live here is still present. But now that I've been here for so long, I can see behind the mask, Oz behind the curtain, if you would. And it's heartbreaking. They've chased out a girl with cerebral palsy. They've chased out another girl with cognitive dysfunctions and her kid. They've chased out families of mixed cultures. They've raised the rent a couple of times, and it's they don't fix anything, and they walk into your house. So that's my ranting. So if you would put positive vibes towards this new, because Luckily, my husband's credit is primo. Primo. We're talking like 820. So, getting a house on credit should be fairly easy while I'm unemployed and don't have any money to contribute. And then this is only temporary unemployment, hopefully. So, all good things. We're moving in the right direction. But, maybe I'm just too hard on myself. I mean, I'm not 1% of what I've shared earlier about being a retail person and having management and all of that. Definitely, I've met others that are solid. They're so amazing. But I am a disabled adult, so I'm definitely not like what everybody else is. I don't function the same, and that's definitely been something that they've rubbed in my face here in Colorado. But you know, it is what it is. We need massive changes, but we don't need to lose our democracy for those massive changes, and that's a whole different video. How I think our American democracy has been under attack for the greater half of 40 years or more. And so I've considered, like, I've applied for different federal jobs and different sheriff's departments and different police academies, and because I wanted to make a change. Like, I wanted to be different, but there was more corruption than most people realize. It's worse. Let me rephrase that. A lot of people realize that there's a lot of corruption, but it's worse than what they think. It's a lot worse. So I decided I didn't really want to be part of the problem. I thought I was going to go and be part of the solution because everybody's so underemployed and there's such a lack of force, a positive force for the people that can fix it. For example, like 90% of the police around Fort Collins are all corrupt. I've seen so many things. Like I've seen them attack a homeless dude. Like this cop just beat the shit out of this guy right in front of me at the bus stop. And then his other officers jumped in. And so there were like 4 officers on this one homeless dude holding a ball, just getting the shit beat out of him. And one officer was fired. 3 of them were put on leave, and the other one didn't have any repercussions at all. And within 6 months, that homeless guy came up missing. And nobody knows what happened to him. And the police department is like, well, yeah, we know he's missing. He's been reported as missing, but he's homeless. This is what they do. After he's been assaulted by the police. And the police are like, 0, I'm not going to look for you. You're not going to be accounted for. I'm not going to act like you're part of society or that you're any worth. And I'm just like, okay, well, good thing I'm not a police officer, because I don't want to be associated with that kind of barbaric and unnecessary behavior. Excuse me. So, yeah, and it turns out that a number of occasions that it was so I've been here for Collins for a while, and there was a small community outroar turns out there's multiple people witnessing multiple assaults and questionable behavior by law enforcement against the homeless. So that it's definitely got better, but I'd rather not be homeless. You know what I'm saying? So it is my apartment what it is. Hubby's home. I think I'm gonna go bother him. Get the snuggles in, the hugs and kisses, and reaffirm that he's a guy. I like him. Wow. Or not, he can do whatever. I have a dog right here, needs cuddles too. I'm a hugger, guys, you know this. Let your sparkle shine. Who squishy hugs? Squeeze! Love you. Love and light in the environment. Goodbye.